Hello, everybody. Welcome to our webinar today. I love seeing all of the chat going on. It looks like I am not the only one freezing my butt off in mid-April, so it's ridiculous. However, it looks like Graham is enjoying mid-70s in Tucson. So, oh, we've got another Ohio person. So yeah, you feel me. I'm in Athens, so we're not quite 36 like Cleveland. But welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Emily from GoWP, and we're here with Tricia Clements from Your Biz Watchdog, and I can't wait to get into this topic today. There's been so much interest in it. We have a ton of registrants for this webinar today, so I'm really excited to just go ahead and dive in. But let's go ahead and we'll get the intro out of the way and get right to the good stuff. So like I said, I'm Emily from GoWP. And this is today's webinar, using Google Business Profile Management to increase your agency's recurring revenue. And this was what's formerly known as Google My Business. So a lot of people still use that term, but it is now Google Business Profile Management. The chat's already working, so just some quick tips for folks here in Crowdcast. There is the ask a question feature down at the bottom, and you can just click on that and put your question in, and that'll help us keep everything in the same place. If you do ask a question in the chat, that's fine. I'll bring it over into the ask a question thing if you don't see that or you can't find it. Thanks for everyone just saying hi in the chat and introducing yourself. I love seeing that engagement there. It's great. Really quick, I just want to say a couple words about GoWP in case anyone watching isn't fully familiar with us. So at GoWP, we like to say that we create happiness for digital agencies and help them to become more profitable. So whether you're looking to grow your team with a developer, a copywriter, a designer, or a dedicated virtual assistant, or you're interested in outsourcing services like blogging or maintenance, content edits, page builds, case studies, we've got all of those things to keep you growing and moving forward with your agency. So if you want to have that conversation, reach out to me, Emily at GoWP, or just check out our website and you can reach out to us there at gowp.com. We've also built the Digital Agency Owners community on Facebook. And you should see a button there along the bottom, I think, to join the community if you haven't. So if you're not in there, we'd love to have you. It's a community of more than 2,000 agency owners where we are live streaming webinars. We hold weekly calls where we talk with other agency owners about things going on in the industry, struggles that you're going through, talk it out and hear from people who've been there. And it's a really great place. So if you're not a member, we'd love to have you. You can just hit that button and join us. That's the GoWP Digital Agency Owners community. And yeah, that's about it from me. So let's get right to why we're here today, and that is Tricia. So Tricia is the owner of Your Biz Watchdog, which focuses on local SEO. She helps agency owners by providing white label Google Business Profile, which is formerly Google My Business Management. Tricia has extensive experience in helping clients with problem GBP accounts and suspensions through her GBP Fix-It services. So I can't wait to hear more about that. And she lives in Marietta, Georgia with her rescue dog, Moxie. So Tricia, I think the last time we saw each other was on a boat in Florida, right?
Yes, in, what was it, Port St. Lucie, Florida. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, for the recurring revenue retreat. That was great. And it was so great getting to know you and hearing about your business and all you're doing and with the white label aspect of it too. So I'm really excited to have you here today.
Great. Thank you so much. Ready to share my screen. Let me make sure I get this. Okay, let me know that you're seeing my screen.
It looks good, Tricia.
Perfect. Thank you so much for having me for GoWP, Emily, Brad, everyone at GoWP. Thank you so much for having me. Wanted to talk to you all today about using Google Business Profile Management to increase your agency's recurring revenue. And I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I live in Marietta, like Emily said, and of course, I've got to show a picture of my rescue dog, Moxie. I share pictures of her all over Facebook, so there she is, cute little girl. I Originally, I had 23 years. I worked as a legal assistant at a real estate attorney's office. And in 2012, I went to my very first WordCamp Atlanta. That's when I became involved in the WordPress community. And I started my business specializing in social media management in 2015. And that was really the beginning of my business. But what I was finding was that my clients, they really, when I was working with them, you might notice that you might kind of say, well, my client needs Google Business, Google My Business, Google Business Profile, a management, and I want to add that on. So you might just tack it on and do a few things here and there. That's what I started doing with my clients. But then I started noticing that they were really getting a lot more business from their Google Business Profile than what I was doing with their social media. And it was hard, keeping up with everything is difficult. So I decided at that time, I really wanted to just focus on their Google Business Profile. And I did that. And then I decided in 2020, I'm just going to rebrand and let everybody know that that's what I'm working on, Google Business Profile. And I did that in 2020, rebranded to Your Biz Watchdog, and then specifically started working with agencies. And again, we mentioned this before, but to confuse everyone, Google decided to rebrand in November 2021 from Google My Business, GMB, to Google Business Profile, GBP. That does not roll off the tongue like GMB. So I will probably mistakenly say Google My Business throughout this. I will try my best not to, but I'm sure I will. So just so you know, want to go over some of the things we're going to talk about today. The importance of GBP to local SEO. There are also certain businesses that can't have a GBP. It's against Google's guidelines. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. The other thing is why GBP isn't a set it and forget it profile. And then different tips on keeping your clients' GBP from getting suspended. When that happens, business can go down for them significantly. So we really want to talk about that as well. So Google Business Profile Management, it's really a good way to add stable recurring revenue to your agency. And really briefly, just wanted to show you a screenshot. You may already know this, but just for anyone who's not doesn't know as much about Google Business Profile, this is a screenshot from my phone, and this is my business's Google Business Profile. There it is. You've got my Google reviews there, some information. That's just a screenshot and you can see it's based on the map. So it's really, really talking about local SEO. And the reason that this is really a great service for agencies that do a website, basically, it's kind of the next step as far as building the website, getting the care plan in place, and then marketing the website. So you've built the website, then you need to market it. And I like to tell clients, just like you do with your care plan, you need to kind of set up expectations at the beginning of the website build, because some clients don't realize that the website does need to be marketed, have local SEO that you're doing marketing so that people actually find the website. It's not one of those that builds it and they will come. And so you really need to let them know this up front, and so that you've got those expectations set for them. There are clients that do understand that, and they may come to you asking okay, you've built my website, now we need to market it. So they may come to you for that. And the other thing is, there are agencies out there that just basically do everything. And there are smaller agencies that maybe just build the website, and you're looking to add recurring revenue. The best way to do that is add this on. I do this as a white label service for agencies, so you can add it on and not have to be the expert, but basically have someone there. Just like GoWP is your expert for your care plans and all kinds of other things that Emily was talking about that they do. I specifically focus on Google Business Profile, so you've got a go-to person for that. And when your client comes to you saying, I need something else, you've got someone right there for you. That's really, really good, so that you keep that business and you're not referring them off to another agency to do something else. And the best part is that Google Business Profile and the website that you built, they really work hand in hand together. Having an optimized Google business profile is good. Having a website that's optimized is good. But making sure that you do both of them together is really going to have a greater impact. I have had individual clients come to me and say, well, I want my Google business profile optimized and managed. And I look at their what their online presence is, and I look at their website, and I might see a website that looks like it was built in 96. I'm saying, I can't, in good faith, take your money and do Google My Business or Google Business Profile, because your website that you're sending them to isn't up to par. So that's one of the good things. You've already built the website, and then you're adding the Google Business Profile Management on. So that is also one of the reasons that I decided to offer the service to agencies, because it was a service that you all needed, and those were the clients. You've done that website, and again, they work hand in hand together. So that's really a good reason to say, okay, the client needs the website, then they need the Google Business Profile Management. And it is local SEO. It is based on the Google map. So we're going to get into that just a little bit, tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But I wanted to show you a branded search, and then I'm going to show you first the desktop, then we'll go into mobile. And so I just searched for my business, Your Biz Watchdog. And you can see on the right here is the knowledge panel. And then on the left of the search are all the different websites that come up. Then you scroll down, and again, on the left, the knowledge panel continues to go down, and you've got all of that's Google Business Profile. All of that's coming from my Google Business Profile. So let's say someone is doing a search and they've picked their top 2 or 3 and they're deciding from it. They're going to do a branded search, and this is what's going to come up. Now look at the mobile search. Mobile and desktop are completely different. So this 1 and 2, what this is I've scrolled down and done screenshots. So the first thing that comes up, all of this is Google Business Profile. All of this here. The second screen, you're going to see website, Facebook. Then you scroll down the third scroll. All of this is their Google Business Profile. All of this. Make an appointment, request a quote. The fourth scroll, all of this here, Google Business, questions and answers, products, and then it gets into other things, MapQuest and things like that. So if you're looking on mobile, how much of the search is taken up there by the Google Business Profile? And one of the things, this is also the reason that a lot of people refer to the Google Business Profile is the business's new homepage. It's because there's so much information right there about the business. Sometimes you see when you're doing a mobile search and you're looking for that specific business, they call, website, chat, request a quote. All of that is just right there. So they may not even go that far, or they may then go to the website. However, I always tell people that just because it's called the new homepage for your business, does not in any way replace the website. Again, like I said before, they work hand in hand. If you've got a well-optimized Google Business Profile, but not a good website, they're not going to work as well. So agencies are out building websites. If somebody comes and says that, they work hand in hand. If you don't have that website that's well done and well optimized, your Google My Business profile won't do as well. So basically you need both of them, even though it is now referred to by a lot of people as the new homepage for businesses. Don't let that stop them. You can let them know that definitely it may be considered that, but you've got to have that website, like you all know. So the other thing is, so that was a branded search that I just showed. What about keyword searches? How important is Google My Business? So every year there's a local search ranking factor survey. It comes out in the fall. I think this one came out in November. And you can see here that Google Business Profile, 36%, reviews, 17%. They make up over 50% of the local search. So there it is. Google Business Profile and reviews, over half of the local search ranking. So when you've got a client that's saying, okay, what's next? Where do I put my money? What's going to have the most impact? Your Google Business Profile and reviews. And that's one of the things. You might have clients say, well, I'm spending all this other money in other places. Why should I switch over and use you for the Google Business Profile Management? One of the things I like to look at are what other things they're doing. And you can look at the biggest shift in local search, local SEO. What happened in the last 7 years? Google My Business, Google Business Profile went up from 15% to 36%. And citations went down from 17% to 7%. So as you can see, citations don't mean as much as they once did. It used to be the fact that you could get a lot of citations and it would really help your getting the business found in search. It doesn't have the impact anymore. So I would tell them, look at your citations. Don't pay monthly for citations. Put that money into something that is going to help boost them, which would be the Google My Business and reviews. And then do the citations. Those are really, nowadays, citations are more of a one and done type thing, unless the business is always changing lots of things like their hours and their logo, all that stuff, which they really aren't gonna do that. So there are businesses that will say we need to lock in your citations. For most businesses, I would say that you need to take that money and put it into your Google Business Profile, which will have more of an impact. Locking in the citations isn't really necessary for most businesses. The only ones that it's probably helpful for are large franchises that have a ton of locations, and it might be a little bit much to keep up with every single one. So in that instance, with lots and lots of franchises, but otherwise, paying that extra money for those citations isn't really going to get them what they think it's going to. They're going to be better off spending their money in the Google Business Profile. So let's go back to this local search ranking factors. So over 50% Google Business Profile and reviews. And honestly, when I look at that, I kind of like blur the line between Google Business Profile and reviews, because reviews, they are in the Google Business Profile. Now, there are other platforms. The reason it's separate, there are other platforms that really have reviews as well that the client might be getting. So that's where it is. But you can look, you've got the only other things on page, SEO, links. And these are things, I'm not saying that these other things to ignore them. But what I'm saying is, when you're looking for where do you want to put the most money to get the biggest bang for your buck out of, looking at the Google Business Profile and reviews really are two of the places that's going to have that impact that you're looking for.
Tricia.
Yes.
There was one quick question before we move on.
Yes.
Could you elaborate a bit more about what citations are?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes. So citations. Those are basically any place online that shows your website, your business's name, address, phone number, and then nowadays also website. So name, address, phone number. And for example, your Google Business Profile is a citation. It's one of the most important ones. Facebook is a citation. Your business page has all that stuff. Your Yelp page. But then there are lots of other things like the Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureau. All of those are considered citations. So nowadays, really what is recommended for that is to get some of the top big citations like those I just mentioned, and maybe some local citations. If you're in any local business organizations, do that. But don't spend all this money on getting all these citations that no one's heard of. And the citations that you really should get really can be dependent on each individual business. They're different depending on which industry you're in. So like if in the medical field, there are different ones that have rankings and things for doctors. And for attorneys, there are different ones specifically for attorneys. So it depends on which industry you're in, which ones are the most important. But you've got, the big ones, Google, Facebook, Yelp, Chamber of Commerce, Better Business Bureau, things like that, that you want to make sure that you have. And other than that, those citations, once you've done them, they're done, unless you change something. If your business changes your address, rebrands, changes their logo, everything like that. So hopefully that answered the question on citations, basically being your information online. There are lots of different places that citations that you've never heard of. There's like My Huckleberry. That's the one that everybody kind of refers to because it's kind of funny. It's like, who's ever heard of that? Well, sometimes these businesses, oh, you have to have these. No, you maybe 7-8 years ago, it was good to have all those, but nowadays, making sure you have the big ones, doing kind of an overall, one of the things I work with clients when I do my first audit is I also kind of do a citation review and see what's in there, if there are a lot of inconsistencies, or if just one or two things need updating and added. So that's one of the things I look at when I do my Google business profile, because I want to make sure Google does look and see, okay, do things kind of match, or do you have a stuff all over the place? Does Google say one thing? Does Facebook say something else? Does Yelp have something else? And the Chamber of Commerce have a fourth thing. So you want to make sure that they are consistent. So hopefully that that helped get the information you were looking for. Okay, let's see. And so review management. So again, reviews, a huge part of it. That is something that I work with clients, and also keep up with things. In January, the FTC came out with a fine against a company for how they presented their reviews on their own website, the business's own website, and it was a $4.2 million fine. Those are things I keep up with. And typically what I do is I talk to my clients, the agencies, and say, okay, these are the things you need to watch out for. Make sure your client isn't doing these things, and keeping up with those things, because reviews are a big part of it. And there are things that are against Google guidelines, and you need to make sure your clients aren't doing, to make sure that they don't get all these reviews and then lose them. So definitely review management is a big part of it. So I've been talking about Google Business Profile, but one thing I want to mention is it's not necessarily for every business. So it is based on the map with local intent. And the main thing is to take a look at Google guidelines. I'm going to have a link to the slides, and that's a clickable link on here for the Google guidelines. However, I will say there are a lot of nuances. And there are a lot of guidelines. So simply because you've looked at them, there are times in there that that Google clarifies later on, and it might not be obvious what exactly they're talking about. But as a general rule, business says if your business either has a physical location, meaning a brick and mortar location that customers visit, or the business travels to customers where they are, you can create a business profile on Google. So basically, when you're thinking about that, think about the travels to the customer, like a landscaper. They come to you to cut your grass. Your mobile groomer, they come to you to do your dog grooming. So those are things that you'll they're called service area businesses. And those are things that can get a little bit tricky, because sometimes businesses will look on there and see others doing something and say, well, I'm going to do this as well. The problem is that just because another business is on there doing it and has gotten away with it doesn't necessarily mean that it's okay and compliant with Google. And you could get your business in trouble with Google by doing things. And when you look at it, Google's not going to take the stance that, well, just because someone else is doing it, it's okay. They're going to make you fix that. So definitely keep compliant with the Google guidelines. Also, brands, organizations, artists, other online only businesses aren't eligible for business profiles. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. And that's one of the things that I do. Because I focus on Google Business Profile, I am every day looking at what's going on with the guidelines. Have they given any clarification on there? Are there any bugs or anything going on with Google that my clients need to know about? And that's also one of the reasons when I work with clients, I tell them that for the business to go ahead and they can reply to reviews, but as far as any changes and updates in their profiles, I like for them to send them to me. I have a form that's online, white labeled, that they send any updates on there. The reason that I do that is because if there is a problem, I know where to go and what to do and what's going on and what's happened. And I'm not there trying to figure out what's happened recently on the account that the business owner maybe did and didn't realize was an issue. So let's see. Okay, so Google Business Profile. I'm saying again, isn't a set it and forget it profile. This is something that a lot of businesses don't realize, that basically it is something that is always got to be optimized. You can't just set it and forget it and be done with it. You got to keep up with it. Google has algorithm updates, they impact rankings. Search results, they change over time. New and changing features on Google Business Profile. I can tell you, especially since COVID, there have been new things, new features, changing features, removed features, things that all can impact a business's ranking, and they come out all the time. So that's something that I work with and keep up with and make sure that that we're working with, and that my clients' accounts are implementing and using those features to the best they can. One of the things, they have lots of different things in the account. For example, there's veteran owned that you can add. And there's one, a relatively new one. I think it's called Latino owned business. And that was a relatively new one. So knowing that that's there, they also have women owned business, knowing that those are there and whether your client, should put those on or not, that's something that you need to keep up with. I've seen lots and lots of businesses that could add things like that to their profile, and it could help them and impact their ranking if they put it there. Because some people are, if they're searching, they might be searching for a specific business that's, say, veteran owned, that's what they want to use. And your profile needs to have that if it's available feature. The other thing is how buyers search and buy online changes over time. And I will say, since COVID, that has really, really shown that, because the way we used to buy pre-COVID has significantly changed. A lot of things are buying online. I know I am kind of the exception to that, in that I was buying and scheduling my grocery pickup years and years before COVID. And so I know I was the exception. I was doing that before, but a lot of people did change once COVID and are using things like Instacart, buy online and pick up at the store, things like that. So how people search, it changes over time. It doesn't stay stagnant. So just that's something to definitely keep in mind. And because of all of these changes, if a business has a constantly optimized and kept up profile, they can really see up to 90% of their business from that Google Business Profile. So that's something to definitely keep in mind for your clients. And the dreaded suspension. This is one thing I get lots of people that come to me because an account is suspended. So some tips on keeping it in good standing with Google and not suspended. First is follow Google guidelines. Again, you'll get the slides and I'll have that link to them. And again, it's not as cut and dry as it seems like, just following them. There are a lot of nuances to that. Another thing is don't have too many users on your account. One thing that a lot of people don't realize is if they have a user on their account and that email address is also used with another Google product, let's say YouTube, which is owned by Google, and they either put content on there that Google doesn't like, that YouTube doesn't like, Google, YouTube, same thing, and or comments, add content, add videos that Google doesn't like, that could cause their Google Business Profile to get suspended. The other thing is Google Ads. If you have a Google Ads account and there's something in there that Google doesn't like, it could cause your client's Google Business Profile account to get suspended. So those are just things that that you need to realize and keep an eye on as well. And of course, stay away from black hat tactics. I know I probably don't need to tell you all this, but the thing is, a lot of times clients, they will read something online and not realize that they need to watch out for. Not everyone online does things as far as white hat tactics, and they need to be aware of that and know that not to just start implementing and doing things. They may not understand that what they're doing could cause their account problems and get it suspended. And one of the things is that I like to make sure that I emphasize with my clients is that I do white hat SEO and Google Business Profile Management because I want the business to be in it for the long haul. And of course, you all know black hat tactics. They're short run, just, do it to get business right then and there. I had a client recently come to me and said he was signing up because he knew that I didn't use these black hat, tactics that were just could have immediate success and then cause the business problems and cause Google to ban it. And so that's one thing that that you want to make sure that they're aware of, that there are things out there that just because someone posts it online doesn't mean it's the thing that their business needs to do. They want to be in it for the long term. And so as far as the Google guidelines and keeping up with that and keeping up with the users and everything, typically when I have a client that is signed on for Google Business Profile Management, month one, I do a full audit and optimization. And typically what I do is I run through everything, and it is usually a report that's over 20 pages long. And then I do a Zoom and review over things and simply point out the things that we need to make sure and then we need to change, and things to tell them, okay, make sure you're doing this and you're not doing this, and kind of run through the things that I see that that could cause them a problem, that we need to make sure that that they are following the guidelines, that they don't have problems in the future. And since we're talking about suspensions, I also do Google Business Profile Fix-It services. I do that white label. Those are for businesses that have their account with Google suspended, and also the dreaded lost profiles. Work with those to get them back in good standing with Google. I will say that I do work with a lot of suspended accounts, but one of the things I've worked with recently in the last year, I've probably done about 4 of these. I call them lost profiles. Basically, the business had their profile on Google, their Google Business Profile, had reviews. I had one that had 143 reviews, one that was like 166 reviews, one that had about 43 reviews, and I can't remember the last one. And basically, they had their reviews, had their profile. Next thing you know, they went to log into their business.google.com. And instead of having their dashboard for Google to update their business information, it said, "You don't have a business on here. Do you want to add it?" And they were like, "No, I have a business on here." And then they went to look at it on the map, and their business was no longer on the map. So they couldn't log into their dashboard, and their business had disappeared from the map along with all of those reviews. You know how difficult it can be sometimes to build those reviews over time. So that was definitely something that they came to really in a panic, because they said, we had all of these reviews, had our profile, we were doing well, and then all of a sudden business tanked. We weren't getting phone calls, we weren't getting appointments, and it's gone. Those are things I do help. I've helped with quite a few of those, got those back along with all of the reviews. Not all of them, I will say, were easy. There are always things that are quite difficult. And with Google, you never know whether you're going to get it back or not, because you're kind of at the mercy of Google. But I have worked with those profiles, getting those back and getting the reviews back, so that the business then could continue getting reviews and get their get the phone ringing again. Also, there are businesses that maybe have lost access to their Google Business Profile. I had one that had 5 locations, and then they decided to shut one down, and they marked it on there permanently closed. And then a year and a half later, they then decided, I want to open this business. They went to open it, and they actually opened the physical location, but when they went into Google, they could not access the dashboard and remove where it said permanently closed. So people look in the map to get directions to it, see permanently closed, they're going to not go. They're going to go to the next person. So that was something, they had it like that before they came to me. They had it like that for a year. And they came to me, and I was able to regain access and open the account back up to where it did not have, it was permanently closed. It had, it was open. It took me a day. And they had sat there for a year losing business from that. So definitely, if you've got a client with a problem, come to me sooner rather than later to get that worked on. There are lots and lots of different reasons for suspensions. A lot of them has to do with Google guidelines, businesses not realizing that they are going against those guidelines as well. So that's one thing. If you've got a client that says, well, I don't need Google Business Profile Management because my profile is all messed up and I can't access. It's suspended. I don't know what to do. So I do work with the Fix-It services, can fix it and then work into and do the management as well once it is fixed and resolved and back in good standing with Google. I will say with all the ones I worked with, each scenario is different. I'll get a call about a problem account and think that it's one way. And then when I start talking to them, realize it's something completely different. So each one has its own little nuances and each one is very different. So as you can see, Google Business Profile has a significant act on local businesses, and Google Business Profile is local SEO. That's really what I do. I focus on that so that you can spend your time working on what you do best, building the websites, working with your clients. I work with the Google Business Profile and keep up with the ever-changing features, guidelines, everything on there. And that's really a value-added service for your clients. You've built the website. They're looking for something that's going to then get traffic to that site and get them clients. That's what they're looking for, new customers for their business. And so that's really what I focus on. And for the benefits of what your agency is going to get from our white label services, it's a stable recurring revenue. So this is local SEO. SEO is not a set it and forget it. It's constantly changing. So it's something that needs to be kept up with so that they stay at the top of the search. And you'll have our GBP experts on your team. I'll work with you. One of the things I do want to say is that the Google Business Fix-It services, that's something that's a separate service. However, once I have a client and I'm working with them, and I tell them that I do help them as a part of my management with anything that has issues with their account if it's something that they didn't do on their account. So for example, I put in there anything other than reviews that you'll send to us and that we will make the updates. So if the client has gone in there and done something and caused it to get suspended, then that is an additional fee because they have done that. So that's why I tell my clients, anything you want, fill out this form, send it to me. It's an online white label form online. They just send it in and I update the information on their Google profile. And I do that because it, again, will help me with the suspension. So that's something that, you've got somebody working with you that's going to look at that account and keep up with it and make sure that they're in good standing. Again, 100% white label. There's no setup fee on there. You're going to get your white label things. I will have information for you afterwards to where you can see all that to get set up. It also increases your client retention. So you've got your clients and they're looking for the next service. You get them with their website, their care plan, and then the next thing is to market their website with local SEO, which is their Google Business Profile. You do that without adding new employees, without learning yet another service and having to keep up with another service, which means no time or money out of pocket for you and your business. So how it works is, and again, you'll get these slides, chat with me, complete the agency sign up. You can provide me then with the client access and information, and then you charge your clients the monthly fee and you get a reliable Google Business Profile services that I work with and maintain for you. So the next thing, I'm going to skip this for 1 second and give you this. So this is a QR code. Go ahead and scan this in. And what you're going to do is going to you're going to put your email and your phone number in. It's going to give you information on what you need to do to sign up to get your branded landing page. And that's a free setup. You only start paying once you've got your first client set up in there. You'll get marketing materials, 30-minute chat with me. I can talk to you about those. So go ahead and use your phone and scan that in. And I've got a few other things that I wrote down that I know that are included on here. Let me see, go back to this one. Okay. added a few things. I talk about my different tiers. I have several different links on there, the pricing, the marketing materials, the different tiers of services. All of that is going to be in there. So again, you can go to yourbizwatchdog.com/GoWP, or you can go to this for the QR code, and that will take you and give you all that information that I talked about, and the slides as well. If you're looking for one thing that's really good is to have that chart that has how Google Business Profile and reviews really are the biggest, most important part of local SEO. Okay, so I will, hopefully everybody's got that. If not, we will put the link in the chat as well. So I'm going to stop sharing. I think that, okay, let me know. Okay, I think I stopped sharing. I'm going to go ahead and put in the chat.
I put the link in the call to action button at the bottom of the screen there as well.
Okay, because I don't think mine has the link in there because it I didn't put the HTTPS. Anyway, okay. So questions now. Do we have lots of questions?
We do. Okay, are you ready, Tricia?
Yes.
All right. So one question, and I think this is a great one, and it got a lot of upvotes as well. So this is coming from Vincent over watching the live streaming in the Facebook group.
Okay.
He said that he's always struggled with teaching his clients the importance of their Google My Business, Google Business Profile management. So what are some techniques you would recommend to ensure that they understand the investment in this service?
Sure. So one of the things I like to tell them is basically kind of show them how their business is shown online and do some searches for keywords and showing how their competitors are coming up and letting them know that, you know, this is a local SEO, and that's really what they're looking for as far as SEO services, local SEO, and that businesses are looking for it. They can tell them how their people are searching for the keywords and show them kind of it's called the 3-pack on what comes up, and show them their competitors and how they want to come up in the search. Instead of their competitors, higher than their competitors. Definitely want to tell them about that. And a lot of the things I do, I work and show them the different Google Analytics reports. So that's a lot of what I talk to them about as far as how they can, again, businesses that have their account optimized can really get up to 90% of their business from that Google Business Profile heading to their website. Okay, so it says that they can only hear me. Only Tricia, but you hear. Okay, so I think that I may be the only one because I think she went. Okay, maybe Emily's back. So let me know if you all can hear me.
We'll see. Are people able to hear me? And I'm just frozen. All working fine.
Graham says all working fine. Okay, so
we'll take that and run with it.
Yes. Okay. So I think I got through that one.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And if anyone has follow-up questions, feel free to put those into the chat. Okay, so this is one that's been kind of discussed over in the chat. And it's about being an online business. So let me ask a few of the questions that were discussed, and then we can kind of cover it holistically. Okay. So when you're an online business, how important is GBP? And regarding having an address, there was a lot of discussion about having your home address, using a co-working space as an address.
Yes.
Okay. Let's see. There's like UPS store mailboxes, a couple different services that do this. So yeah, what are your thoughts there?
So for online only businesses, I will say it really depends on the business. So for example, I provide local SEO services, Google Business Profile Management, and some people may consider me to be an online only business. I work from my home. Google has certain kind of exceptions that you kind of just have to know about that are there. So businesses like digital marketing, building websites, that works fine. You can have a Google Business Profile. There's things like lead generation. You can't have a Google Business Profile with that. If you're doing purely lead generation, like a business that just, let's say, let's say gutter cleaning, and they have a website and a Google business profile, but they don't do the actual work. They send it out to like 10 different companies. That's not allowed. That's considered pure lead gen and not allowed. As far as the service area business, basically that one is home. First, I'll talk about home address and virtual offices. So for example, me, I have my, I work out of my home office. And what those are supposed to do is verify at your home and then hide your home address so that your home address isn't there. And then instead of having that pin on the map, you're going to basically have your service area. You'll input your service areas and you'll have a thing around that for your service areas. And that's how you would do those for your home office. Co-working spaces are not allowed. I will say that yes, you may find businesses listed in a co-working space that have that, but at some point, Google will probably find it, especially Regus offices. Google took if you're in a Regus office, I would definitely change that address as soon as you can, because Google has gone through and basically just suspended every single listing at those locations. What Google wants is for you to have if you're going to have a pin on the map, they want you to have an office that has signage out front, that you have your employees, not like Regus or someone else answering the phone, but your employees, they are answering the phone during business hours. People can come there during business hours and see your employees. So that's why a lot of the co-working space doesn't work. There are a few exceptions where, like, let's say someone has is in a place where it's co-working space, but they have their specific space that they actually have an office. They're in there every day, whatever their hours, 9 to 5 every day, have their signage on the door. It's not temporary signage. It needs to be permanent signage there on the door. So those are things that Google looks for when you're talking about your, as far as co-working spaces and pin on the map and service area business. There are a few that can get away with having a home address. That is something that, let's say that you actually see customers at your home. You have signage out front. I'll tell you, a lot of times that doesn't work. So for example, here where I am in Marietta, you would have to apply to and to the government to have signage outside and to have your business there. And a lot of times they don't allow that. They don't want a big sign in the front saying that that's your business. And that's what Google wants for you. If you're going to have the pin on the map at your home address, if not, you need to verify it at your home address and then clear your business name, your name address from the map.
Thank you. You really covered all the questions that we were discussing.
I want to make sure I got all of them because it was a long question.
Absolutely. So. Yeah. So if we could kind of do a long story short sort of thing with that, it's if you're an online business, you can put your home address, but you want to be a service area.
Yes,
right?
Be a service area and clear that address. That's the thing.
And clear the address.
You don't want to show that address as the pin on the map.
And that is heads and tails above doing a rental address, Regus or mailbox, etc. UPS.
Yeah, those I will say will probably get suspended at some point or another, and you could lose the profile. So you want to make sure that you don't lose access to that account because you've got it at a Regus or co-working or whatever space. And as far as the online only, those are really more. When I talk about that, I'm really talking about the service area businesses, and there are certain things that are and are not allowed for online businesses. Like we would I consider myself, I do online work. I do go out and meet with some clients at times, but I do a lot of it over the phone or online. There are some online only businesses that are not allowed to have a Google business profile. So definitely watch for that too. And the other thing was, I was going to add something to that. Now I can't remember. You can put in, if you have a address with a pin on the map, you can put in a service area if you also go out to customers too. There was something else I wanted to say, but I will think of it soon.
Perfect. Let's move on to the next question, and then we can come back if we need to. The Better Business Bureau approached someone asking or saying that they can pay around $360 a year to be listed on their site. Any feedback on the value of the
Sure.
Better Business Bureau?
Yeah. So a lot of that kind of depends on the industry. I've seen where some industries say, oh, you've got to have that. I think it's called accredited by the Better Business Bureau. And around 300 to 500 a year. I can't remember what it is. Maybe it's different locations. I would say as a general rule, paying that is typically not worth it. However, there are industries that say that it's invaluable. So definitely look at the industry you're in and seeing, do all your competitors have it? The other thing is you can get your Better Business Bureau listing free without having the accreditation. So make sure that you do claim that free listing. Once you do that, you will get contacted asking you to pay. For a majority, I would say it is probably not worth it. Occasionally there is an exception to the rule.
Okay, great. That's awesome. Really helpful there. I love that tip about checking out what your competition is doing too.
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah, definitely. I would say that on even all the citations we talked about, that's one of the things I do. I search and it's like, okay, so where is the competition and where is your client? And does the competition, are they all in one place and your client's not? Well, your client should be there to have their citation.
Absolutely. On the topic of citations, are any citations bad in any way, or is it bad to have too many? Is there anything you should kind of be looking out for there?
No, I wouldn't. It's not too bad to have too many, unless you're paying for them, paying a lot for them to keep them every month. But other than that, there's not one that's really bad to have, unless you've got all kinds of bad information in there. It's wrong information. That would be the only time I would say get rid of that, change it.
Awesome, perfect. Let's see. This question came up and I thought it was a good one because it's something we actually discussed last week or the week before in the Facebook group. And it was kind of filtering which Google reviews you're displaying on your site. So what are the rules around that? And you had weighed in on that post in the Facebook group saying, watch out and be careful here. So can you go through that a little bit?
Definitely. And I'll say, so first off, I'm not a lawyer. This is not legal advice, and don't shoot the messenger. So the FTC did come out and they did update their guidelines. And one of the things is specifically if you're using a plugin to show reviews on your client's website, that you cannot selectively choose which reviews to show. And that's sometimes it's called review gating of showing the reviews. So example, you've got that widget and let's say there's something that says, oh, only show 4 and 5-star reviews. That's not allowed by the FTC. That's not a Google guideline, that's FTC. And they're a lot of times, businesses, if they've got a 1-star review, they don't want that to pop up on the bottom of their own website. So I would say for that's just something that you need to let your clients be aware of and know that, and tell them that, what I personally would do is tell them that I would not implement something that is against the FTC guidelines. If they want to, that's up to them. But I would put it in their contract that you have not implemented anything that's against those guidelines that has that. Also, it's basically showing those reviews. As far as widgets, also they want it, if you're putting in images or text of reviews, they want it to be kind of reflective of your overall reviews. So let's say, you have a 4.2, but you're only showing 5-star reviews. Well, their FTC is saying, well, that's not really reflective. Now, are you going to get caught? I don't know. I think they're probably going after some of the bigger businesses. Also, some of the platforms did get letters saying that they needed to change their platform. So if you're using one of those platforms, then definitely I would take a look at it and watch out for that.
Great advice there. And Roy just made a good comment there about 1-star reviews are the best kind because they allow the business owner to show how they react.
Yes.
In the face of a 1-star
I
review.
agree with that, Roy. The one thing is it's when you have a review widget, they typically only show the review and not the response. They have to click on that, but for the review widget. So yes, I agree, is how you handle reviews is definitely could help your business. So
yeah, or hurt it. Yeah.
Or hurt it. You respond.
All right, here's a quick question. Is it better to create a Gmail account for each client's GBP or create a GBP agency account?
So I have an agency account that I use for all of mine to keep them in one place. I wouldn't set up separate Gmail accounts for all of them. And things have changed a little bit. I will say that if you or your clients are using the GMB app on your phone, that's going to be going away at some point. Google announced it. They haven't announced the exact date, I don't believe. However, that will be going away. So just be aware of that part too.
Good to know. Yeah, thanks. Great advice. What would you say, Tricia, is the best way to stay up to date with all of these GBP changes?
It's difficult. A lot of it is just working with my clients and seeing what Google's doing, and kind of getting an overall feel for how things are going. It is hard, but Google also, there are different places you can see where Google has updated things. Just kind of keeping up online with what's going on. It can be difficult though. I will say it's not an easy thing. And that was one of the reasons I decided to specifically go to Google Business Profile, because I couldn't keep up with it and everything Facebook and Instagram was doing. So that was when I was like, okay, I'm focusing on one and not a ton. So sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. You need a partner like Tricia on your agency to stay up to date with it all. What can we talk a little bit about your services?
Sure.
What are included as deliverables as part of the GBP service?
Sure.
And what are they able to report to clients as kind of things?
Okay, so the reporting. So I have one of the things I do, and I've got when you sign up for that email, I'll give you a list of things and you can see the different things. But as far as deliverables, they get monthly reports. So they'll get a page that says, click here to view all your monthly reports, and click here and you will submit your monthly information. And basically those are all white labeled to your business. So they'll have reports. And a lot of what I do is I do UTM tags with my Google Business Profile so that I know, because Google, their insights in your dashboard are not that accurate. So I look at those and really can tell a lot from the UTM codes, and they get reports on all of that every month. As far as working with to provide them as far as marketing to get them on board, I do have a form that is completely blank as far as the logos and everything, and you can put your information on to send them. I'm finishing up doing like a 3 email sequence for you to send to your clients as well.
Awesome. That sounds fantastic. And again, if you want to check out Tricia's services and everything she's offering to registrants of this webinar, you can click that check out Your Biz Watchdog white label services button across the bottom. And that will take you to yourbizwatchdog.com/GoWP. And you can get all of that stuff. And I'll send that link in the follow-up email as well.
Great. You'll also get the pricing on there. You're going to get the that marketing PDF I was talking about. And I've also got like the different tiers. I've got several different plans on there. And there's several different landing pages that you'll get for your white label services that are branded to your business.
Awesome. We just got another question in. Is there anything you should do if you are doing a DBA with another name, also an online business, using the same address as your current online business?
Okay. So tell me, so the DBA I'm just going to assume that the first business, it's an LLC. Let's just say it's an LLC and they're doing a DBA. So do they have 2 business profiles? One's the DBA and one's the LLC?
Let's see if they comment and let us know.
One thing I will say about while we're waiting for them to respond is that you want to have, if you've got 2 profiles that are similar, you want to have different websites, different phone numbers. Address being the same, it depends on how closely related the businesses are and whether or not Google will merge those.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm not seeing another comment there. Okay. So it sounds to me like it's a DBA and they want to use the same address.
Okay.
Oh, here we go. First is an LLC, and she hasn't set up the second, working on the website now.
Okay. So, but I guess the question for me is, are they just different services, but are they the same LLC, but one is just using the DBA name? So to me, I think Google may, and this is something I would probably work with and talk with Google about, because a trade name really is something that you're doing, or a DBA, doing business as. So you really would have the Google business profile set up in the trade name and not have one for the LLC normally, because you're doing business as that other name. But if you're actually looking to set up something that like two separate profiles, I would say you would, to be on the safe side, you would want to have a separate LLC and business, and it would probably be better to have a different address to make sure that they're not moved. You may not be able to. That is a tricky one. And I think that's Melanie. So yeah, we can talk a little bit more about this, because this is a little bit of a tricky situation, because you want to make sure Google doesn't merge those. And the other thing I want to, this also came up as a little bit related. When you've got businesses that have the same primary category in the same office, like take real estate agents, and they all get verified at their office address, what Google does is they filter out, and they're only going to show the top couple there at that location. So if you've got one that has like 160 reviews, and then you've got the others and they're lower, those aren't even going to show in the search results. So if that was my client, I would verify them at their home address and do it as a service area business, so they don't get filtered out in searches.
Great. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And it does sound like a little bit of a complicated issue.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's, unless anyone has another question, we are right at 1:30. So the timing is perfect. And I do want to respect everybody's time. And I do apologize that my video went out. I'm not sure what happened there, but Tricia can see me, I think.
Yes, and definitely any follow-up questions, I've got a link in that where if you click on the link, you'll get a 30-minute chat with me and a Zoom call. So definitely, if you've got further questions, just follow up and we'll chat.
Great. One more question came through, Tricia, if you have a minute.
Sure.
Cool. So this person has a medical client with 3 locations in the same city. Does each location need its own GBP? From a white label perspective, would you charge for these as 3 separate businesses, or as a single business, perhaps with some extra fees for supplemental work?
Yeah. So they would be separate locations. I'm assuming separate brick and mortar locations. So yes, they would be separate locations. And because of that, it would take the same, the work would have to be done on all 3 locations. So yeah, definitely would be different separate services, profile management for each one.
Awesome. Yeah. Wonderful. That was a quick and easy question. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Tricia. Again, if you've registered for this webinar, I will be sending out an email that includes the link and everything that Tricia's talked about so far. You can also catch the replay right back here on our Crowdcast profile. So thank you, Tricia, so much for your time and all of your insights and experience.
Yes.
And thank you, everybody, for joining. Jinx. All right. See you all later. Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.